We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification.
And so that is a video clip from 9 months ago with Larry Fink explaining the next step for BlackRock is the tokenization of financial assets. And so this is one of the largest financial firms out there with $9 trillion of assets under management. And so let's go ahead and follow the smart money and pay attention to what they are doing. And so I'm going to be digging into that in this video. I'm going to be showing many examples of projects that they are working with and potentially also investing in. And so I definitely think that there's a lot of important information in this video. Make sure to stay throughout the entire video. Also, if you enjoy this content, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for future videos. And so let's go ahead and jump right into the video here. We're going to be taking a look at real world assets on chain as they have reached $12 billion in value. And so I'm going to be going over 5 different cryptocurrencies that I think have potential of working with BlackRock as they're being integrated into their treasury fund. And so if you're interested in buying those cryptocurrencies, there is a link underneath the video to WEEX Exchange. They have a current promotion going on right now for new users. If you sign up and deposit $100 and trade on the platform, you can earn a $100 futures bonus. And so definitely make sure to check that out. And so let's go ahead and take a look at some information here regarding real world assets. And so we can see here that they refer to tokenized on-chain versions of tangible and intangible non-blockchain assets. And so these are currencies, real estate, bonds, commodities. And so the total on-chain real-world assets are at all-time highs of $12 billion. And so that is continuing to grow. We're seeing more and more implementation of this, and I believe this is going to continue. We're seeing a lot of traction here. Now, we would not see a lot of growth if this was not working out, right? And so key categories within the real-world asset space include tokenized U.S. treasuries, private credit, commodities, stocks, real estate, and other non-U.S. bonds. And so I'm going to be digging into these. U.S. treasuries here is what BlackRock is focusing on. However, private credit here is a massive portion of real world assets, right? Out of that $12 billion, $9 billion of that belongs to private credit. And so we're going to be digging into that and looking at cryptocurrencies that could be involved with private credit. And so BlackRock's fund here has now reached $500 million in value. And so this launched earlier this year as the first tokenized fund. Here, this is BUIDL, and this is the latest progression of the digital asset strategy, says the BlackRock head of digital assets. And so they are focusing on developing solutions in the digital asset space that help solve real problems for our clients. And we are excited to work with Securitize. And so they are working very closely here with Securitize to launch their on-chain tokenized fund. And so we can see tokenization remains a key focus of BlackRock's digital asset strategy, just as Larry Fink said in that video. Now, through the tokenization of the fund, BUIDL will offer investors important benefits by enabling the issuance and trading of ownership on a blockchain, expanding investor access to on-chain offerings, providing instantaneous and transparent settlement, and allowing the transfers across platforms. And so Securitize is proud to be the BlackRock transfer agent, tokenization platform, and placement agent of choice in digitizing and expanding access in its investment products. And so they are working very closely with Securitize here with their fund. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the $12 billion on chain for real world assets. And so we can see here, out of that $12 billion, a large majority of that is private credit here. And so we can see, out of the $12 billion, I mean, we're looking at almost $9.5 billion being private credit. Whereas the tokenized treasuries here account for a much smaller portion. Now that is what the fund is focusing on for BlackRock. However, I believe all these here are going to get a lot of attention as we start tokenizing assets on chain. And so let's go ahead and take a look at this here. We have Securitize, who's working very closely with BlackRock in the tokenization in next generation markets. And so they're going to be talking here on September 19th, and they're going to have a discussion here with Ondo Finance and Chainlink. And so Chainlink and Ondo Finance are very closely integrated with BlackRock and Securitize. I believe they are working with them here to tokenize a lot of these assets. So in addition to that, we also have Velo Labs here that just recently brought BlackRock's tokenized short-term treasury fund to Southeast Asia. And so there is another partnership here with Velo and Securitize utilizing BlackRock's fund. We also have Parify that tokenizes the fund on Securitize platform with Avalanche. Again, working with Securitize here, which is working very closely with BlackRock, right? And so, I mean, if we're looking at all these cryptocurrencies here, we have Chainlink, we have Avalanche, we have Ondo Finance, and we have Velo as well. And so all of these cryptocurrencies here, I think, are working very closely on tokenization. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at the private sector, as I was mentioning, that accounts for a large majority of the real world assets on chain, right? Almost $9.5 billion out of the $12 billion. And so we can see that here. The private credit refers to the business of non-bank financial institutions providing debt financing, often to small and medium-sized companies. And so the IMF estimated that this market is worth over $2.1 trillion in 2023. And so a massive amount of money here, $2.1 trillion. Although the on-chain private credit market is only worth about 0.4% of this, roughly $9 billion. And so there is a huge opportunity of growth here with tokenizing these funds for private credit, right? It has been growing and active loans are up about 56% over the past year. And so we should note that the majority of the total volume locked can be attributed to Figure. Now, Figure is a fintech company that provides lines of credit collateralized by home equity, essentially a loan against your home. And so if we go ahead and take a look at those here, let's take a look at the different funds here. We can, as I mentioned, Figure is one of the largest portions of that, and so they are not listed here. And so if we take a look at just these cryptocurrencies that are focusing on the private funding sector, we have Goldfinch, we have TrueFi, we have Credix, we have Maple here, and we have Centrifuge. And so all of these projects here have their own cryptocurrency. However, we can see that this has been growing steadily, and I think we're going to start seeing this really start to take off towards the end of the year. I think this is something that to be paying attention to, and I think BlackRock's going to start focusing on this here as well, as this fits into tokenization of assets. And so if we go ahead and take a look at Maple Finance here, this is one of the projects I am most bullish on. They have their total value locked at about $400 million. Now this has been growing substantially, right? I mean, if we're looking since March, they were right around 100 million. And now they're already up to $400 million in total value locked. However, their market cap has not grown substantially. And so I think there's a lot of upside for Maple Finance moving forward. This is one of the funds for lending in DeFi that I think has a ton of potential. They're continuing to build. They're continuing to integrate into many wallets. They just integrated into Binance Wallet as well. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the token here for Maple Finance, currently trading at $18.35 with a market cap of $143 million. So they have $400 million of total value locked with a market cap of only $143 million. I believe that this token is undervalued. Now, Maple is going to be switching their token over to Syrup here. However, I do not know exactly when that is going to be taking place, but they are going to have a conversion here over to Syrup, with one Maple being worth 100 Syrup tokens. And so the price is eventually going to be divided by 100 here, which is going to bring the token price down to about 18 cents. And so Syrup will be worth about 18 cents, where it is currently worth about $18 right now. However, you are going to get a 1 to 100 conversion there from Maple to Syrup. And so that's definitely something to be paying attention to as they make that conversion over. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for future videos. I'd also be interested to hear from you. Let me know in the comments section which cryptocurrency you think is going to do the best out of the tokenization sector. Thanks so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.